Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Imezi. If this is the first time stopping here, and today we'll be discussing or be talking about what you have seen circulating on the news. Famous footballer Hakimi, ACHRAF, 24-year-old footballer, well known, one of the best defenders, the likes of Sergio Ramos, and he plays for PSG, which is Paris Saint-Germain. So that's his club. He's a Moroccan player as well. So he has been making news on the internet because his wife discovered during their divorce proceedings in court that this husband of hers, whom they've been married for 2 years, is all of his wealth, and I'm talking about shoes, clothes, cars, houses, stocks, like everything he owns belongs to or is under the name of his mother. That means the wife cannot get a dime from all of that. I am not interested in what led to their divorce. I don't want to know because I know relationships are difficult and people have their own expectations. People go through stuff. So I don't know why the divorce. I am not interested in that. I only want us to talk about the lessons learned from this whole process. And that is why I have my makeup. I was initially thinking of starting doing my makeup while I have this conversation with you all. But I was like, let me get started because if I don't, this video might end up being so long that I will not really want, and I don't want for that to happen. So let's get into finishing the makeup and why we talk about some of the lessons that we can learn from this situation. I have made some notes and I have it written down here. So if you see me looking this way, no, it's I have some notes. And if you see me looking this way, no, I have makeup. I have some of my makeup down here that I'm doing right now. I already did my lashes, my eyes. Just waiting for it to set, and we can proceed. So my first lesson or from this is trust, right? The importance of trust in any relationship. I think trust is fundamental to the survival of relationships, be it friendship, marriages, dating relationship, co-workers, um, work relationships. So I think it's important that we have authentic, trustworthy um, relationships. So I'm using this. What is this? What is this? Black opal to contour. So let's do that. Let's do that. Just highlight my nose. Some more. I like more contour. I think a little bit more on my nose range. Why we got it. So yeah, so I think trust is very important in any relationship. Who you decide to get married is crucial to the outcome of your life. And I think in this, I don't know if there was trust in the beginning or what happened to it, but I think it's important that we should trust people, not just when they are healthy, but when to the point that we know it's straight away we want to make a commitment like this. Marriage is such a big commitment that we shouldn't go into it just lightly. We need to be able to trust this our partner, knowing that in times of bad or when things go wrong, they will be by us, right? So I think it's important to trust whoever it is with our life, right? Marriages are difficult, guys. Marriage is very difficult. I am not married, but I know for a fact that it takes so much work. So if you're going to say I do, you should mean it. We should all mean it. My next thing or lessons learned here is we should not take marriage lightly. So it's building up the trust. We should never take the decision of marriage lightly. It's not something to joke about. We need to go for counseling. That was the second point. Lessons from this marriage is marital, premarital doctrine or counseling. I think it's important that everybody before getting married should get counseling. Um, that's why I also talk about I'm a big proponent for having a spiritual mentor because things like this, I don't know if your financial mentor would be able to best advise. So I think it's important to have a spiritual mentor in situation like this. So having premarital class is extremely important. Extremely important. Now, the next lesson on the list, that is lesson number 3, if we're counting, is greed. Greed, 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 greed. Greed is not good. Greed, being greedy is never a good option. It's never good. It's not advisable to be greedy. So I think in this case, based on what I've heard in the circulating around, everything I'm saying here is alleged, like guys, alleged. How do you say allegedly? Yeah. So I'm not everything I'm things I'm saying here is not the gospel truth. I'm just saying it's based on what is going on the news and in the internet. So my next thing, ooh, that looks so good. So now we're going to work with the eyes. I need to put some eyeshadows. And like this color. I'm using the what is this called? Julia Place. Just to make my under eye pop a little. So I'm using Julia Place. The color is Jamila. So the eyes are looking good, guys. What do you think? Yeah. So I was talking about greed. So in the court precedent, based on what I have seen, based on the research that I did, the wife, the ex-wife, her name is, I wrote it down, Hiba. Hiba Abuk. That's her name. She's a 36-year-old lady, a Spanish lady. She's an actress. Good for her, because this is one of the things that mistakes that we women make sometimes when we get married to these wealthy, famous people. We have nothing going for us. Even if we did have something, we just want to be 100% at home, not knowing his finances, having no like just end your career and stay at home. And if you do decide to stay at home, be a full-time mom, you and your husband should definitely have conversation in regards to that. And so while you're staying at home and raising the kid, it is important that your husband and you are in agreement and you're getting some sort of financial assistance for that. And because taking care of kids is not easy, guys, it is extremely difficult. So Hiba definitely has a thumbs up for me in the fact that she has her career going. Now, back to greed. This lady demands half of what Hakimi has made in his entire life. Do I think that is fair? Oh, hell to the no. I don't think she deserves half of it. I'm sorry, but I do not agree with that. Because think about it, how would you feel if your son or your brother had to marry someone? Mind you, Hakimi is a famous football player, one of the best defenders, like I mentioned earlier. The likes of Sergio Sergio Ramos. He also plays for Paris Saint-Germain, and you also have Thiago Silva. He plays for Chelsea FC. So those are some of the best defenders in the world, guys. So this man, this boy, 28, 24 years old, is among those criteria of defenders. So he makes a lot of money. He has been making a lot of money before marrying Hiba. So Iba has been married, they've been married for 2 years, and you demanding half of everything he owns. I think that is greed. And that is why I say we have to be careful. Greed is such a bad thing, guys. It doesn't pay to be greedy. You shouldn't go into any relationship trying to suck a man dry. That is so unfair to him and his family. Now, what do I think? So that is a third lesson I think we all can learn from this situation, because perhaps maybe if you wanted somewhat maybe 30% or 20% for the 2 years and raising their children, maybe he would have agreed to that, or maybe, but the fact that she wanted 50% of everything you own, I think that also made him skeptical. Like, what was the motive? Why did you get married to me? Why did you want to get? Was this all along part of the plan? So it's important. We have to be considerate of one another, guys. We have to be considerate. It is so unfair that if you were a billionaire and you had to get married to somebody and they demanded half of everything when they did not contribute to you becoming a billionaire, that would be unfair as well. So in regards to that, Hiba Hiba Abuk has a thumbs down for me. She should not be demanding 50% of everything this man owns. I think that is so unfair. Okay. Now, what do I think about him having all of his assets in his mother's name or under his mother's name? I think it's so unfair. It is good and bad. And I'm going to begin with what I think is not acceptable, right? You cannot have all your assets under your parents. And I know, and it's so sad because I know people in real life that have their assets under their parents' name. And the reason I say it is not fair is because when you do decide to get married to somebody, oh, where's my driver? Give me 1 second. This is better from Brazil. Lighten my leaves. Okay, so I'm just my leaves and then apply this Huda Beauty liquid, this matte liquid in the, it's called Trendsetter. So going to put some on. I like to let it dry a little before putting up, before smushing my mouth together. And while I'm waiting for that, I also have my um Boxam liquid lipstick that I'm going to apply above that. I'm going to add some highlighter, guys, a little bit, just a little. And I'm using this blush. It's called Profusion. I've had this for a long time, friends, so this is not something I just got. I've had it for, I don't know if you can see, but I've used this a lot, and this is my second best, and then this and this. So I'm going to use the highlighting, this one, to highlight. Not too much, not too much. And these brushes I'm using, I've had them for a very long time, for a very long time, and they're all very cheap brushes. I don't have all the fancy brushes. So because I let it sit for a bit, it looks nice. I do that and then I apply this. One of my best lip gloss. This. It's from me. I got it from Sephora. And now we're just going to set everything. Okay. I think we are done. Okay, that's enough. So I was saying that my thought about having all the assets under his mother's name, I think, yeah, it is not fair. When you do get married, when you decide to get married, I think couples should have a joint account together. I think there should be a joint account. You have your monthly income coming in there, and your partner's monthly income coming in there. If you do decide to have accounts set aside, fine, but make sure that both of you have some sort of joint account. I believe, because it say Bible says two of you should become one. A man shall leave his mother and father's home and go get a wife, and they shall become one flesh. And so anything you do as a married couple should be in unison, right? It should be together. So having the idea that he had all of his money, all of his wealth under his mother's name didn't quite sit well with me. on the good side, on the flip side of that is the fact that because he's so famous and because history has shown that there are people, there are women that will go out of their way to seduce a man or to get with a man just because they want what he has. They wouldn't even mind getting pregnant for this man and have kids just so they can cling onto him and suck him dry of his money. And I think in that sense, it is a good thing that he has his money under his mother's name. And also, it shows that his mom and him have a really good relationship. And that is something I like. If my son came home to me and said, Mommy, I want to put everything under your name, trust me, I will be so happy that he decides to do that. Especially someone who is that famous or someone who is popular and has all this wealth. A lot of times, women throw themselves at people, right? They throw themselves at these wealthy people just to catch in or catch out of them. And we've had scenarios of that happen to us before, or not to us, but we've heard of that happening in the media. It has almost happened to Drake, where someone had wanted his sperm in a hotel. And I thought that was so crazy. He went to a hotel, had sex with this lady, used protection, and somebody wanted to. So that is crazy, and it has been happening a lot of times. So on that note, I think it's a good thing that he has his assets under his mother's name. The boys were having a field day on Twitter because everyone was like, "Yeah, way to go, we have this girl." But remember, like I said, if you do decide to get married to somebody, the two of you should become one. The two of you should be doing things together, and that include your finances. And one of the arguments that I saw that people said she should get Hiba Abuk should get 150% of everything he owned because she bore him kids. That argument to me is very fallacious. I don't think it's right because when you have kids, you are not having those kids alone. The man also, the two of you have to come together in order to produce kids. So saying that you're having these children for him, it's not to me, it's not a very strong argument because in order for couple to have a child, the both of them need to come together. A man and a woman has to come together and they make a baby, right? And the baby is the responsibility of both individuals, the man and the woman. But if somehow you have the agreement that the wife needs to stay at home and do all of this, take care of the kids, it still doesn't mean that that child is all hers. Like he's doing him a favor by having the children stay at home or having herself stay at home to take care of these children. They have two kids, two boys, right? One was born 2020 and the other was born 2020. So they're still very young, toddlers, I think. They're still very young kids. So that argument to me was had no basis. When a man and a woman decide to have children, nobody is helping anybody. That is your decision. You guys have decided to have kids. And that's why I'm saying that it is important that we get counseling, premarital premarital doctrines, premarital counseling before we even get married. How well do we know this person? Marriage is beautiful, but if you marry someone that you are not compatible with, it will literally ruin your life. So those are my take from this whole situation going on. Greed is never a good thing. We need to learn to trust one another. We also need to go for premarital classes. Marriage, like I said, before you do say I do, make sure the person is someone you can risk your life for. You can know that on your dying bed, this person will stand for you and not have all his assets under some other person because there is no trust. And why will you as a human being, as a woman or as a male decide to get be with somebody that doesn't trust you because having all his assets in his mother's name is lack of trust. Why would you want to marry someone you don't trust? That's another question I have. Why? So I hope, friends, that we have learned something. We all should learn something from this situation. We all should learn something from this situation and be able to better ourselves and our future and our decisions, right? And not just, like I said, I have no interest in knowing what they have going on in their lives. I don't know why, and I don't have an interest in knowing. Marriage should never be taken lightly. Trust is extremely important, even more than love, if you ask me. If you trust someone, you're definitely going to love them. Respect too. So, friends, let me know what your thoughts are in this whole situation of Hakimi, a 24-year-old footballer, and his ex-wife, Hiba Abuk, 36 years old. And why is nobody, that just reminds me, why is no one talking about the fact that this man allegedly is under investigation for rape? And not only that, why is nobody also talking about the fact that this woman, 12 years old, bigger than him, got married to him? Those are things I find. Why? What is a 12? Your gap, the gap range is too big for me, if you ask me honestly. Because there are also situations of where women will marry on the or start dating minors. He is not a minor anymore because right now he's 24 years old, but the lady is 36 years old. So they had been dating before they got married 2 years ago. So they got married when he was 22 years. So were they dating when he was still a teenager? And are we talking about 16, 17 years old? Why is nobody talking about this whole, the man had everything under his mother's name is taking over the conversation and all of these other questions? Because trust me, men abuse is so real. Women do abuse men as well. Women do manipulate men as well. I think that is something we should also be talking about. It's not talked enough on the news. Most time abuse is mostly men to women, but woman to man also exists. So we need to talk about that as well. Why will you in your 30s be dating someone, a teenager? I remember Tiger did that with when Kylie was still, I think, 16 or 17, and the internet was livid. So if a man does something like sorry, it's not okay. But if a woman does it, it's okay. Abuse is abuse, regardless of gender. Anyway, guys, that was my thought on this whole shenanigans going on right now. And I hope all parties involved are safe, are taking trying to have the privacy they need. And I hope his mom is safe because all of this has just exposed the mother more to vulnerabilities. I hope she's not attacked because of this, because some crazy people might want to, steal or do something crazy. But that is the end of it. Let me know if you like my makeup, guys. And let me know what your thoughts are on this whole topic. Should men be having all their wealth in the name of under the name of their parents? And should you even marry somebody that has all his wealth, or that will have you marry someone that continuously have put everything you guys share together under the name of his parents? I definitely think Hiba a book should get something, but it's definitely not 50% of everything that Hakimi owns. All right, guys. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you on the next one. I do hope you all had a wonderful Easter if you do celebrate Easter. I'll talk to you next time. Bye, friends.